And what you're about to see is, yeah, it's unfortunate really. And as now coming up onto the start finish straight, you would see, just an example of ambition beyond adhesion. And it's just, hey, what is up, guys, and welcome to round 4 of this IRC F1 2020 league. And today it's time for the Chinese Grand Prix, and the first 3 rounds in Australia I DNF'd, and then Bahrain I was P3, and then in Vietnam we were P2. So I was really coming up into this weekend hoping for a win. And this first run on the soft tires, I did purple first and second sectors, but that was not the strategy. I did not want to start on the soft tires, so yeah, slowed down a lot in the final sector. But yeah, now let's get on to the fastest lap, which I did in the session, and it wasn't really a good lap, but I had to do with this and the medium tires. It's just so tough in my opinion to make them work. So into this first corner, lifting off and then turning in, and then it's just so long. You have to downshift like it's a grandfather's car. You cannot be rapid with the downshifts because you have to use engine braking very wisely. And then third gear on exit out of that corner, and then coming up into this really tight right-hander at the 100-meter board, brake in a straight line, and then first for entry and then third for exit again, minimizing wheel spin and then maximizing traction. And then this section is entirely flat out in these new cars, so yeah, tons of downforce going through there, and then brake in a straight line again, and then you have to pretty much hug the inside a little more than I did on that occasion to have that time. And yeah, this section was really slow. I think maybe the track was not fully ready with, the track evolution was not really this optimal at this stage, and I just kept on losing time through this very segment. So this turn is very much a test of how connected you are with your car and how much you're feeling the setup, because the the power delivery out of that corner has to be really linear, and just if one snap and you will lose the car. But we managed to not make a mess of it on that occasion. And then yeah, this very heavy braking zone, ideally you do not want to lock up going into that corner. And yeah, I think I lost pretty much 2 tenths on that occasion itself. So I knew that this lap was not ideal, and I at least had around, I think, yeah, half a second maybe on a perfect lap. But that lap never came in this session at least. And yeah, 131.6, so far from ideal. I think even through practice I was doing consistent 31 twos and 31 ones. So yeah, quali was disappointing, but now it's time for the race, and we have 5 lights in China. And I needed a really good start, which we kind of always do. As we can see, Russell in front of us, just yeah, he is having his own race at the moment. And coming up into this T1, all I wanted was to not have contact, and we managed to keep it on the inside because that is particularly safe through this section. And then we have the outside for this next left-hander, and yeah, the Renault of Babaji goes wide on that occasion, and we are in P4, so we make up 2 places in the first sector itself. And this was not a bad start, to be honest. Coming up into this section, we're behind the real SD, and for some reason I think in this initial stage, it was really tough for me to kind of understand the levels of grip that were available to me. And maybe it was with the track or the tire itself, because I had done three, I think, tried 3 hot laps on these tires, and that is not ideally what you should be doing. I did not invalidate any run in quali, but it was just, yeah, I always felt that there is more time on the table and that I could go faster. But I would just do very good first and second sectors, and then the third sector I would mess up. So not an ideal qualification, and that it is still having its effect on me in the race itself. So lap 1, we are in P4, and we're behind the real SD and Rajdeep Paul, who has started on the soft tires. So I knew that he would, I was not really considering him as a threat at this moment, because I knew that this was effective P3, as the race stood right now. But now coming up to the next lap, and we've been caught up by Moto. So now I knew that I might have to go really defensive into this next corner, because he was really closing in really fast, and I did not want to lose too much CRS at this moment. So yeah, before the braking zone I turned my car into lean, and then I'll brake on the limit pretty much. He has the inside, and yeah, thankfully doesn't really squeeze me that much, and we get the better exit out of that corner. I think he lost it ever so slightly out of that section. And yeah, we live to fight another day for P4. And this lap we do a 1 minute 36.1, which it's yeah, in practice I was consistently doing 35 fives even in the starting stages, and I know it's all about replicating, it's all about doing it in the race. But on this next lap, finally I gave in, and Moto, I think he was the faster car at this time. So I thought to myself that maybe I could use his pace. Maybe if I could stick in his DRS and just make the most out of it, I would catch up to the leaders eventually, because this is not really my strength. And I think my race really comes alive when I'm on the hard tires. So that was my objective, and I just tried to keep it as consistent as I could. And coming up to the end of lap 4, we see that in front of us, Rajdeep Paul is falling pretty much. He was in P2, now he's in P4 on the very next lap, and yeah, I was lining him up for a pass on this next start finish straight, but he dives into the pit lane, and yeah, that was, I didn't really need to overtake him on the start finish straight. So we get DRS as well from him, and coming up to the end of lap 10 now. For 5 laps, nothing really happened, and the gap, which was I think 1.5 seconds initially, has now widened to 3.1 seconds. So at this moment it was all about strategy in my mind, because I knew that maybe to overtake on track, I would have to do something really extraordinary, and that I did not really feel that confident at this time, at least on these tires. So I was really looking forward to the hard tires, and on the next lap 11, I see that the guys in front of me do not peel into the pits, and I thought this was my moment to go for an undercut. And even if it's worth 1.5 seconds, I know I was ready to take my chances, because the hard tires, I think they suit me better, and I was really looking forward to just capitalizing and getting mega outlaps on these hard tires, and coming out in a relatively safe position. I think Rajdeep Paul is in front of us again, and he's on the medium tires, which I was not sure at this moment if they would last till the end of the race. So yeah, I knew that he would have to stop again, and given that he was on the faster tire right now, I was kind of hopeful that he would carry us to the front runners, and if I could just stay in his DRS, then eventually maybe I'll just make some seconds and make some time on the guys in front of me who I was really fighting, so Moto and the Real ST. But going through this section, just look at how much time we're gaining through those corners, and this was not, I was ideally you should be happy when you close up to the car in front, but this moment I was not really happy, because I did not want to fight for positions, and all I wanted was to just stay within 1 second, but not so close that I would have to fight, because I knew that this guy would have to pit sooner or later in a lap or two. So I was really looking to just use DRS and minimize my ERS usage. So at this moment I think it was really critical for me to get past Rajdeep Paul, because I did not want to get held up. And coming up into this corner, we go down the inside, left the door open, and yeah, I did not want to miss out on that opportunity, but just couldn't make the move stick. I think he turned in, and then I was just yeah, maybe he was not expecting me to go for that move. But look at my DRS flap right now, and this was an issue that I was pretty much nursing throughout this session. And coming up into T1, I was trying to hook it around the outside, but it's just so tough, this move, to pull out. And yeah, when you're behind a slow car, particularly through sections like this, it's just so tough, just to stay behind and not get damage. And then it's just doubly irritating, to be honest. But coming up into this right-hander, and in front of us, just all sorts of things happening, and this was it was like navigating Monday morning traffic, to be honest. And I did not want to have any damage on the car, because I knew that I was miles faster than the cars. And coming up into this right and left section, I hook it around the outside of the Force India, so we will have the inside line going up into this left-hander. But
what the fuck?
Yeah, as you can hear from the radio as well, it's just, yeah, I think maybe it was just me, maybe, but I think there was no business for him to just slow down that much on the apex of the corner. And coming up onto this back straight, so this would be a 4-car long DRS train, and we're behind the Force India and the Alpha Tauri, I think, of Rajdeep Paul. And going up into this next braking zone, I think I was really taking it cautious at this moment, because I did not want any damage on the front wing. And as a result, I think Black Sheep, who was around 2.5 seconds behind us on the lap before, it was just in a matter of a lap he gained 2.5 seconds. So I lost just so much time in this particular traffic, and it was just yeah, this really was a deciding phase in the race for me, and just just through this slow section, I was just trying to look at every opportunity that I could have, and then finally we get a better run than the Force India. So coming up into this next right-hander, I would be in front even before the braking zone, and that was a positive. So we brake at the 100 on the limit, and yeah, I think that is a move done on the Force India. I think he would not be coming back from that position, and now it was now race critical again for me to pass the Alpha Tauri in front of us. So all my efforts at this moment were to pretty much just gain time on the car in front, and I was setting him up for this next back straight DRS zone. So just being clean, and I think till this time, till lap 14, we did not even have one warning for track extensions. So we were having pretty much a clean race on our part, I think, but it's just so tough in traffic to just just stay consistent, because just yeah, you can see the car in front of us, so he's also in traffic, and he's just it's everybody is feeling the pain of the traffic at this moment. Just the feel of the car changes, and into this next braking zone, do we go for a move down the inside again? We have a look, but we realize that we're way too far back on this particular occasion. So yeah, I tried to set him up on this next start finish straight, and coming up we brake, we have a better exit as somebody in front of us peels into the pits, and then we have DRS again. So this should be an easy move, and just as we pass Rashdeep Paul, we get a safety car, and yeah, I was the car in front before the safety car happened, and I even got instructions to pass him, and just
क्या अबे what is he doing यार?
maybe he was red on his delta,
Fucking
I
idiot.
was green on my delta, and it was just I I really don't know what to expect, when you're under safety car, and yeah, it's just the game is kind of, I think it's a gray area pretty much, and yeah, we lose a lot of positions because we had to pit again for the front being changed. So we're back on a set of new medium tires, and for these 11 laps, it was just now for me, it was just going to be a complete sprint race. I was just going to give it everything I had, and I just had some cars to negotiate, and I knew that I would have to make a lot of overtakes through this next section itself. So just so much faster than the guys in front of us, and as you can see again, Monday morning traffic in front of us, and coming up into this next braking zone, we try to have a look down the inside, but we realize that we're way too far back to have a go on this occasion, and these guys in front of us are pretty much banging wheels, as somebody in front of us was, yeah, he was on the grass and sideways. So on the back straight, sorry, and we are behind the Force India, and it's yeah, at this moment I was just giving it everything I had pretty much, and I just wanted to be the car in front. As now coming up onto the start finish straight, you would see just an example of ambition beyond adhesion, and it's just I had the line going up into the inside, so we're going to be side by side with the Alpha
राजदीप
Tauri,
ये
and he just
भाई
turns in on me on the straight, and this was just for me, it was this was
dude
getting
is a
too much
fucking
now,
clown
and
this one.
I know you need to have a very calm head, and just you need to take cautious decisions when you're racing other cars, but it was just I did not want to be the nice guy anymore. So coming up into this next braking zone, I'd already decided that if I get a chance, I will make a move. So we make a move down the inside. He leaves the door open, and I just kind of gave him a little squeeze on the exit of the corner, and then this next left-hander. If he was not ready to respect my front right wheel on the start finish straight, I was not. I was just fully entitled to the racing line on that occasion. So yeah, he spins and retires from the session. So I mean, ideally, you do not want to see things like that in a competitive race. But now coming up into this next left-hander, we was just so much faster. But I think yeah, this was a pretty dumb move on my part. I would have gotten him on this back straight, and it was just failure on my part. I should have been a lot more cautious and calm in that occasion. I would have easily gotten him on this back straight, but yeah, we lose 4 positions, and we are in the process of getting one back on this back straight. So I think far from ideal again this race under braking, and yeah, into this next hairpin. Just we were the car in front going into the braking zone, and we give him a little squeeze on the exit. So yeah, now my objective was to again try and catch up to the guys in front, and I knew I had the pace, but it was the consistency which was missing on this occasion, and in traffic it's just really tough. So having to defend a little from Amit behind us, but yeah, it was now critical for me to just get as close to the guys in front, and just I could see three cars going in front of me, and if I could just close up, I could have a go and into this next hairpin Kapil Ace spins. So it was just, yeah, we get one position back, but this could have easily been a P5 or P6, even with the front wing damage and the second pit stop. So the very next lap, we close a 3 second gap almost to Tanish in front of us, and this just showed how much pace I had at this moment. But that is really of no use, to be honest, when you're not consistent, and when you fail to look at the bigger picture in races. So into this next very high speed left and right section, and what you're about to see is, yeah, it's unfortunate really, and this it's just, yeah, it shouldn't be happening in tier 1 of IRC. So now it was just, I wanted to get past him as fast as possible, because I did not want to make contact with the guy in front of me. So coming out of this section, and we had a very fast run, we easily overtake him before the braking zone even begins. So at the 100-meter board, what can go wrong? I think the move was done, but
What?
yeah, there are just so many things that can go wrong. And generally I like to quote Martin Brundle and say this is ambition beyond illusion, but this was this was not ambition, it was stupidity. But on the start finish straight, I thought he was conceding the position because he did what he did in the last corner, but turns out he was in the mood for some more defending, and yeah, that would have been a really bad crash. And yeah, I have no idea if that was intentional. I doubt if it was, but you do not expect at this level that somebody would be doing that. But he goes to the inside, and we send it round the outside into this next corner. He tries to give us a little squeeze, but we are side by side, and yeah, we this was risky, to be honest, but we had just so much better exit. And side by side through this section, ideally you do not want to go side by side in sector 2, but just it was now very important for me to just get past this one, because it was not about positions anymore. I just did not want to pit again for a new front wing, and yeah, it was more about survival than the race position. And on to this next lap, you see somebody else also has an issue. So we're in P5 finally, 8 seconds behind the front runners, and yeah, this happens. So
अबे भाई ये what is generally
I'm
अबे
I'm
doing?
I'm not really sure what was the case,
What
and
is
I get a
generally
penalty for good
doing?
measure. So yeah, I have no idea, and all of that, all of that meant that I would again have to be, just fighting and defending, because I just lost so much time on my delta. And just as General Pepe passed us under the virtual safety car, just it was then that I really had to slow down, because I did not understand what was going on. And as a result, Amit passed us. So now he pulls a really smart move. He lets me go in front just before the DRS zone, and yeah, I would have taken that any day of the week, because I was just very confident that I would get him on the last lap or the penultimate lap. So now we just, yeah, we were pretty aggressive with the defending there, and pretty Verstappen like move there. And it was just, yeah, it was kind of getting irritating for me now as well. So yeah, even in the knowledge that I was faster through the second sector, it's just, it plays on your mind somewhat. And yeah, into this next turn 1, and yeah, I was trying to just see if I could just make a move into T1. He holds it pretty well on entry, but yeah, we see a move, we see a space down the inside, and we send it entirely, and we are side by side pretty much through this section. And I think, yeah, this was not something that I was expecting, because I was already on the marbles, and he still wanted to push me wider still. So again, just all the frustration building up, and I knew that I had to get past him, because I just did not want that I lose some more positions on this final lap. So he again lets me go before the DRS detection zone, and we're again defending really hard into this next corner. And I slow down more than he expects and tried the cutback because I knew that if I were on the outside, he would squeeze me out. So yeah, I knew that any opportunity that I had to go for would have to be on the inside, because it's just, yeah, on the outside he would just pretty much not leave me any room. So into this next section, and I really wanted to just get on his inside somehow. And yeah, it was, maybe he was not expecting me, and I'm not really proud of this move. I think it was kind of dirty, but I just got squeezed so many times on the outside that, yeah. And I think in frustration he lights up his rear tires and spins coming out of that section. So yeah, I think I'm all in for hard racing, but yeah, it's just, it gets dirty at times. And this race, I think if this would have carried on for 10 more laps, I think everybody would have taken out everybody else, and the last guy standing would have won pretty much, because it was just one of those races. But yeah, last lap, last couple of corners, and the real SD in front of us and ourselves as well, we both have front wing damage. And it was just a matter of keeping it within the white lines through that last corner. So he had no penalties at all, and we have multiple 5-second penalties because of contact with Rajdeep Paul and then General Pepe, I think it was, under virtual safety car. So yeah, hopefully that should get taken off, and I'm not really confident if all 10 seconds would be taken off, but I think 5 seconds need to go. So that would put me in P7, I hope. I think it would be a long shot, but yeah, I think P7 should be it. And this was a race that I would really want to forget and move on, because Sandwood is next, and that is really not a race for the hot-headed. And yeah, I think I would just want to take whatever I get out of this race and move on pretty much. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on this race, and if you have any feedback, then please feel free to just mention that in the comment section down below. But P7 in China should give me 6 points. I'm sorry, this list is not updated still because I'm early with the video. And yeah, I think I might hold on to P3 in the championship standings, but yeah, that is not what the goal is. The goal is to be in P1, and all my efforts are sort of aimed towards that one goal. So next time it's Zandvoort in a week's time, and hopefully that should be a good race. And if you happen to enjoy this one as well, then make sure you let me know in the comment section down below, and also subscribe to this channel. Keep an eye out for all the other stuff which I do. If you haven't checked that out already, then make sure you do right now. And yeah, until the next time, until the next video, just stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.